It's another lovely Sunday afternoon. You are welcome to Robin Minds. I am Osato Edokbayi, coming on the back of a week that had a lot of things happen, really, from the tragic to the entertaining to relief, especially if you follow sports and you've been following the Women's African Cup of Nations, where the Super Falcons finally got a win at this tournament after an embarrassing defeat in their first game. Loads of things to get through this afternoon with you, and it'll be my pleasure to take you through all of it all with some amazing guests. But we're starting off on a very important note that requires us to be as introspective as we need to be honest with the state of things in the country today. Last week, another young Nigerian, Ibrahim Mbaya in Jos, sadly lost his life after being accused of stealing an iPhone before any investigation, before any court hearing, and before any opportunity to defend himself. He was allegedly beaten to death by people who believed they had the authority to determine his guilt and administer punishment. The incident has sparked outrage across Nigeria. For many, it is yet another painful reminder of the persistence of jungle justice, where accusations are increasingly followed by instant violence rather than lawful investigation. Unfortunately, this is not an isolated incident. We've all heard the stories before, from the Alu 4 killings in Rivers State to the lynching of David Imo in Lagos and numerous unreported cases across the country. Mob justice continues to claim lives. Sometimes the victims are guilty of an offense. Sometimes they're innocent. In every case, the outcome is the same. Due process is replaced by collective violence. And this raises uncomfortable questions. Why do ordinary Nigerians participate in killings in broad daylight? Why do neighbors, traders, students, and even friends become executioners? Why do so many bystanders record these incidents instead of trying to stop them? I mean, has public confidence in the police and justice system deteriorated to the point where people believe violence is more effective than the law? Or is this no longer simply a policing problem, but evidence of a deeper moral and social crisis? So, as Nigeria grapples with insecurity, economic hardship, and growing public frustration, incidents of mob justice appear to reflect something larger than crime. They suggest an erosion of trust in institutions, a declining respect for human dignity, and an increasingly dangerous belief that accusation alone is enough to justify death. At its core, this conversation is not about defending criminals, as you'll see. It's about defending the rule of law. Because if society accepts that any crowd can decide who deserves to live or die, then no Nigerian is truly protected. Today, the victim may be someone accused of theft. Tomorrow, it could be someone falsely accused because of a rumor, because of personal grudges or mistaken identity. The strength of any democracy is measured not by how it treats the innocent, but by whether it guarantees justice even to those accused of wrongdoing. This discussion asks whether Nigeria is slowly abandoning that principle. Joining us to examine this virtually is Funke Adeoye. She's the Executive Director and founder of Hope Behind Bars. Good afternoon, Funke. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's fantastic to have you here. So there's obviously so much to get into. And, the first question that really bothers me when I see the videos, and they're very graphic, and when you hear these stories is, where has our humanity gone?
Thank you. I think that that's a question a lot of us are asking, having seen the videos that went viral last week. My deepest condolence to the family and friends of Ibrahim. Where has our humanity gone to? It's unfortunate because this incident of mob violence, as you said, is not one that just started this year. It's something that we have seen persist over and over for as long as possible. And it's quite unfortunate that in spite of every effort to create awareness as to the fact that mob justice is illegal, and the fact that people should not take matters into their own hands, we still find things like this persisting. For this particular video, it actually happened in a school community, in an academic community. Where has our humanity gone to? I think that's a question that we also have to keep asking, because you actually do not have to know the law or to understand the law to know that it is wrong for you to commit such manner of assault on another individual, talk more of going ahead to kill the individual. So I think that's a question that we all have to ask ourselves, and it's a very pressing question.
And, you know, just to follow up on that, because you have a legal background, and this country has a constitution. We're a constitutional democracy, for starters. And you have to ask yourself, and you sort of mentioned that a bit, but where do citizens, ordinary citizens, everyday people who have their own businesses to take care of, where do they get off thinking that they can now apprehend somebody, prosecute somebody, and more or less just convict the person in the streets? Why is this thing something that people are comfortable with, you think?
So I would say that, there are different reasons, there are different things that we can think about here. We can say this is a crime problem. We can also say this is a failure of our justice institutions. But I need us to first of all look at what has happened here. And that is the fact that ordinary citizens who do not have the right to prosecute, investigate, or even sentence a person have just committed an offense. When you look at our various legislations, you look at the Constitution, Section 33 of the Constitution protects our right to life. And this right is constant for everyone, irrespective of whether you've committed a crime or not. Now, the exception is that only when a court of competent jurisdiction sentences such a person to death, that's when that right can be taken. It has to be a court of competent jurisdiction. Now, Section 36 also gives us the right to fair hearing. Which is the fact that even if there's a presumption of innocence for everyone. So even if there is an allegation of crime, you must ensure that the proper due process is followed. And what's the due process? There must be an investigation, there must be prosecution, there must be trial, there must be a judgment before a sentence. Now, in this video, as you can see, what has happened is there was an allegation. After the allegation, there was violence, there was anger, and there was death. It's important that we understand that not only has the Constitution been violated, the young men in this video have also committed offenses under the criminal code. There's an offense of assault, grievous bodily harm, and murder. And then when you look at the video as well, you find that you can't even count the number of people. There are different people. There were people who were bystanders, who were looking. And the question is, what happens to bystanders in situations of mob justice as this? Are they also prosecuted? What does the law say about them? It's important to know that if there is proper evidence to prosecute bystanders in incidents like this, to show that they incited the action or they prevented the victim from actually acting, they could also be charged for conspiracy. So a lot of laws have actually been violated when you think about the incidents of mob justice, or when you think about the incidents of jungle justice in Nigeria.
And Funke, even a more concerning thing is what happens while this is ongoing. When these acts of mob justice are being carried out, we know of this particular case in Jos because somebody recorded it. I presume many people did, but this particular video that's gone viral was from a particular smartphone. People have smartphones everywhere nowadays. Why are people so comfortable taking out their phones? Irrespective of what the reason is or accusation is, why are people comfortable these days making content out of gruesome things like this?
I think that it's, I would say, first of all, that it's an issue relating to psychology, right? We seem as a society, or we seem as citizens, to be desensitized to violence. Let's take a pause away from mob justice and consider our smartphones in the past couple of months, in the past couple of years. There's a lot of insecurity in the land. There is a lot of violence. We literally sit down and we see pictures or videos of armed men killing civilians. So it looks as though as citizens, we are already desensitized to violence and blood. And then when you consider the fact that there are really no consequences for some of these actions, right? You may want to justify somebody bringing out a phone to say the phone was brought out in order to take evidence that law enforcement would use in case they want to arrest the perpetrators. But the more question is the earlier question you asked me about our humanity. I think that in addition to being desensitized to violence and blood, we are also, or to a very large extent, we are more concerned about self-preservation and self-interest, because you want to ask yourself, for some of the onlookers or some of the bystanders who were taking videos or taking pictures or whatnot, what could they really have done if they were not inciting the offenders, if they were not inciting the offenders or holding the victims? You know, you might want to ask yourself, is there a possibility that in trying to help the victim, they could also turn to them? So it's first an issue of being desensitized to violence because of our peculiarity as a nation currently, and also self-preservation, self-interest. Before we now even begin to look at things relating to consequences, because if people find that there are consequences for not taking action in situations like this, perhaps they would be more conscious of acting or making attempts to act in situations like this.
And now, you posited this earlier on in your introduction, and just want us to go to it now, because when you see the situation where people are literally taking the laws into their own hands and abrogating all this sort of the prosecutorial powers, conviction and so on to themselves in the streets, you are having a situation where it appears that people have lost trust in the criminal justice system. Now, with your background, is that the case that you see? What more can be done to repair that trust that's broken, to ensure that people can be certain that when a situation arises as this, they can put a call to the police and trust that justice will be served as it should be?
Okay, thank you for that question. And I think that's something that we all know as Nigerians. The justice system has been around for quite a while now. And when you talk about the justice system, we first look at the police before looking at the courts, the judiciary, and the correctional system. The general parlance that we all grew up is with police is your friend. But I can recall several times, even on this show, where you've had to discuss incidences where the police are actually the perpetrators of some of this violence. There are also issues of what happens if you go report to a police. For instance, let's take a look at this particular case. The allegation was that a phone was stolen. Now, can an average Nigerian walk into a police station and ask that their phones be tracked, a stolen phone be tracked, without the police requesting for money? That's a question we need to answer. I personally have had to track a phone, and I know I had to pay for the phone to be tracked. Now, when you look at the fact that the tracking devices used by law enforcement and police officers is paid for by taxpayers' money, and then we are not necessarily guaranteed that kind of support when we walk into a police station, then there is a problem. Generally, Nigerians have lost trust in the justice system. Nigerians have lost trust in the policing system of the country. And we know that there are lots of conversations around what needs to be done. There are lots of work that has actually been done. We should not just talk about the problems. There's some work that has been done. The police bill, for instance, in 2020 was enacted. And one of the points in the police bill is the necessity or the need for community policing, which I think is something that we keep missing out on as a country. The fact that the police institution as it is supposed to be closer to the people and closer to the citizens, closer to the members of the society, but oftentimes the police is closer to the elites in the community. We can also talk about the conversation around state policing, which I think it's a very hot topic right now. The state police bill currently has passed at the House of Reps and at the Senate, and it's gone into the constitutional amendment process. But a question I would like to ask is, how much did Nigerians engage this state police bill? Are we ready for state police? Are we ready for the gains of state police? Are we ready for the political, is our political system or our politics as a nation, is it ready for what state police can offer? Because yes, back to your question, a good reason why we might continue to have mob justice or jungle justice is because people do not think that the police would actually do something. But we must, as the police needs to begin to look at prevention. For prevention's sake, we need to build trust in the justice system. And I think another thing I should mention here is the need to also communicate. Now, before this call, I was thinking through on some of the incidences that have happened in the past. The Alufo, for instance, Alufo happened in 2012. And we did not have the conviction of the perpetrators until 2017. That is a whole 5-year gap. Now, a situation whereby victims have to actually wait for 5 years for them to actually get a conviction. That's another issue we can begin to talk about in the justice system. So there are lots of issues, there are plethora of issues when we look at whether people have a trust in the justice system or whatever it is that is causing a rise in mob justice in Nigeria.
All right. Funke, thank you so much for that. I've quite enjoyed our conversation. I've quite learned a lot. And there's so much more that we can get into, as well as where's the role of societal units like the family and the religious institutions here as well. And there's so many things that we can all go through. But as I mentioned at the start of this, we all need to look inwards and how we see these situations when these sort of things happen. And clearly we're on television, so there's some images we can't even show to protect the sensitivity of our viewers, and that's how bad things have gotten. And we're hopeful that as a society we can really come together and ensure that we protect every single person and justice is always served. Robin Mind continues. We'll be back. Welcome back to Robin Minds this Sunday afternoon. Now, last Friday, thousands gathered not just to watch punches being thrown, but to witness something bigger. Chaos in the ring has become more than a celebrity boxing event. It's raising questions about the future of sports entertainment in Nigeria. Can celebrity boxing become a viable business? Can sporting events become premium entertainment experiences? And what does it take to build an industry that creates jobs, attracts sponsors, develops athletes, and competes on a global stage? Joining us is the man behind Chaos in the Ring, the CEO of Balmoral Promotions, Dr. Ezekiel Adamu. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
It's good to have you here. I mean, first of all, I want to say a big congratulations to you and your team for putting together Chaos in the Ring. When you sit back as the head of the organization and all the soldiers who put this together, how does that make you feel?
I'm grateful, proud. What word will I use again? Guided, and supported.
Indeed, because when you look at what it entails, it's boxing, which is a sport that's been on for quite a while, but then you bring in a mix of celebrities in it, and not just any celebrities, colorful characters,
chaotic celebrities,
who get up to all sorts of antics and so on. What informs your decision to pick these fights?
I think the fights actually pick themselves. We don't come up with the beef come up online, and then we just latch on it and just say, listen, why are you disturbing us on socials? Let's bring it to the ring, settle it in the ring. And once it's settled, it's forgotten and it's done. Whoever wins just, takes a bragging right. I
mean, I take bragging rights, but is it really done? Because some of these guys keep going on and it seems like they want to keep fighting forever. Do you have to break people up?
Well, so some of the fights, most of the fights are real. Not?
Of course.
Most of the fights are real, and tempers flare in the ring. It's an unpredictable sport, so to be honest with you, you can't really tell what happens. And people sometimes say, oh, some of these fights are staged, some of this are down. Listen, if someone gets punched you in the face, you want to punch back.
Exactly.
And if you can't punch back, sometimes you have to hold. It's still part of the strategy.
It is boxing.
It's boxing. It's part of the sport.
Listen, like you said earlier, these beefs, they make themselves, and you just tap into it and get these people in the ring to settle these beefs, not amicably, but over some
in the ring, it's proper boxing, get punched in the face, something.
The thing I want to know is, tell me, and be honest here, are there find me 2 beefs right now that are ongoing you feel that you would really like to see in the ring being sorted out?
I think Burna Boy and Davido.
Wow, okay, that's an interesting one.
Right.
Are they beefing? I didn't know.
They've been at each other. They're not friends, are they?
Clearly not friends.
And there's little jabs here and there.
Of course.
I think, to be honest, I don't pick the fights. We have matchmakers, and the general crowd is also the matchmakers as well, because sometimes that comment on their session, they're like, listen, settle this, and you hear all the time, oh, I want VDM to settle the beef with Jollof, you want this person to settle the beef with this.
Is that another
There's
one you like to see?
a lot I want to see. I think that's a mismatch, to be honest with you.
Is it?
Yes, I think it's a mismatch. There are different weight categories. So it's an unfair advantage.
And of course, in boxing, we don't allow people bite each other's ears now, do we?
Well, no, we don't allow it, but does it happen? Absolutely, it does happen. One of the biggest fighters, Mike Tyson, beat off Holyfield. Yeah, so, it happens.
Is there another celebrity beef ongoing now that you want to see, perhaps, put up?
To be honest with you, there's none. I'm an immersive person. When I'm immersive in a project, I just focus on that project for now, and I believe something's going to come up along the way. Something interesting really going to come up. People are really been anticipating a female celebrity fight. So that one, I'm looking forward to a proper female celebrity fight.
Awesome. I mean, looking at the spirit of gender balance, if you like, we see a lot of male boxing, celebrity boxing matches. Are there any chances we're going to see some female celebrity boxing
The next
matches?
one will be a female celebrity fight.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
October 1st.
October 1st,
yes. Independence Day.
Chaos in the ring.
Someone is settling the beef in the ring.
Can you give us clues as to who?
I mean, for me, we already have the female one already. We just signed a multi-fight agreement with DJ Dimple Nipple.
Okay.
She's been training for boxing for a while, and then it's just for us to do the proper matchmaking and get her an opponent. We get a good opponent, either a local opponent or international opponent. We'll definitely make that happen. And what we've also planned for as well, for Chaos in the Ring is beyond just a boxing event.
Of course.
It's also a global storytelling. So for her as well too, we've lined her up to go and train with the top world champion internationally as well too. To keep pushing that African narrative, to pushing the global storytelling.
Here's another thing I want to ask you regarding stuff that I've been looking at going online. The conversation with Iyabo Ojo and Liza Jorin, for example. Liza Jorin has been saying she's ready to get in the ring and fight. Is that a matchup we're going to see soon?
Honestly, it's something that's generated a lot of interest online and stuff like that. For me personally, we want to see good fights. We want to see people that will give us proper fights. So I'm not sure how that would work out well in terms of seeing proper fight, or rather we just see what they call it gidigbo. we don't want another gidigbo again. So definitely with some training, maybe. But I mean, the market we're also looking at, when you look at the African market and the Nigerian market, we have almost about 230 million people in Nigeria. 70% of that demographic between the ages of 15 to 30. And I mean, that is a market we're really looking at. So anything that cuts across that market, we'll definitely give it a think.
Now, let's look at the economic value of celebrity boxing and Chaos in the Ring. Like I mentioned at the start of this conversation, it's created a lot of jobs, it's all these other economic activities around it. Do you think that we're not tapping in enough to events like yours?
Absolutely. I mean, sports is a religion anywhere else in the world. It's a global business. Some countries thrive just on sports alone. So sports is a huge, huge economy. And when you look at Nigeria and Africa as a whole, we've never really lacked talent. When you think about it, almost every country have an African player or African athletes try fighting for them or even playing football or any other sport for them. But in Africa, what we've consistently lacked is platforms. And what Chaos in the Ring is actually beyond a boxing event or celebrity boxing event. It's actually a platform for African talent. What we have the zone, the global home of boxing, distributing this to a global audience. It's a talent for hope, and that's the reason why you see that through channels, we do a lot of community outreaches, taking the superstars to various community. We go to Mushin, we go to K2, we've been to Songo, we've been to Oshodi as well, in terms of giving these young people hope to see that, listen, through sports, you can also make it out of the hood as well too. It's a platform for major economic scale, talent at economic opportunities at scale, because at the events you find out that the athletes are earning huge amount of money. We also have vendors that come in as well too. There's the production side of it. So the economy is actually huge as well too. There's media, there's everything we have to do. The global storytelling, you find out that's why this edition, in terms of getting that international audience, we took that Charles Okocha to London to train with the likes of Moses Atama, who I think is one of the most promising boxer globally we're talking about now. He trained with Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois is the current WBO world title holder. So, I mean, the story goes on. And I think most especially, it changes how the global audience look at African boxing for good.
Okay, just if we look at what's happening on the screen now, is this boxing? Because Chris will say it's more a spectacle than it is really the sport that people know.
To be honest with you, I mean, this is more of WWE and wrestling as opposed to boxing. However, boxing is such an unpredictable sport, and for us as well too, this is not about celebrity boxing. I have to be honest with you. The platform, it just gives. You get that global attention and the eyeballs from the influencers. But on the night, I don't know if you've seen Basit Adebayo, Joker Boy, knocked out a Tanzanian. Basit is just a 20-year-old kid. He knocked out a veteran in Tanzania that fought over 40 fights, knocked him out in the second round. We have Jafaru knocked out a British champion in Samuel Antwi. Samuel Antwi is supposed to come and fight this fight and go on to start challenging for world titles. But he came here and I got a rude shock when he fought Jafaru. Jafaru knocked him out in the 6th round. We have Yusuf Adeniji, who just represented Nigeria at the WBC Grand Prix in Riyadh as well too, who also did well. I know the celebrities get the sensation and all of that, but they are actually proper professional bouts on the show.
Indeed, just look at what's happening on our screen. Who's this fighting? Can you share with us?
So this is Shiloh. Shiloh is a UK fighter fighting Eric Kwam of Ghana. Shiloh won on the night. Shiloh is actually a very talented fighter and he's actually just been signed to Balmoral Promotion as well too. So we'll be seeing a lot of Shiloh. He's a super light champion. He's very promising. And so for us as well too, this is beyond just putting on shows. This is actually, we flip the script, because before now, what used to happen is that African fighters, African talent travel abroad to seek for opportunities and for visibility outside the country. But what we're doing now is that we've now, through our partnership with The Zone, we are now bringing international athletes seeking opportunity in Africa to a global audience as well too.
Yeah, well, let's look at this as well. Who are these?
So let me see this one. Oh, yeah, so this is Michael. Okay. Michael is a debutant. He's just been signed to Balmoral Promotion. He's an amateur fighter. This is his first fight. And you can see he won the fight as well too. So he's now 1-0. He's on his professional journey as well too. He's never earned more than, I think, 1 million before on the fight, even as an amateur. Yeah. And that is even fighting for a tournament. But on this fight, he's earned good purse. And he's going to give back to his community as well too. So for us, it's about talent development. It's about giving this talent opportunity to deliver on what we believe that's their potential. All right, so there's another clip that we're looking at. Can you tell us about these fighters too? So this is still Michael. Okay. Michael, who is the debutant. I want to see, to be honest with you, the one I want to see, I think, is Basit Adebayo as well too, who I think has one of the most insane KOs in boxing we've seen this year completely. And you saw it in The Zone as well too. They put out an insane KO for a 21-year-old. After that fight, I've been getting a lot of international fighters say, please, we want to take on Basit on an international. And for us, we wouldn't relent until we start having world championship fight here in Nigeria. Also came on the punditry team in terms of the broadcast team is Denzel Bentley, who is a Ghanaian UK fighter. He's also the current WBO middleweight world title holder as well. So he came here and he said, listen, I love this platform. Please put me in the ring here. I want to fight in Nigeria. Yeah. So I mean, it's defining the story and changing the narrative for us. Okay, so I like that you're grooming talent professionally with professional boxers and so on, because some of the conversation that I'm seeing is that they feel like the opportunities are not quite given to them, as opposed to the way it's just focused on celebrity boxing and so on. But you show that there's a pipeline. It's a journey. I mean, there's a journey for us. I mean, some of them are impatient as well too. They want to say, listen, I want to earn the same amount that the celebrities are earning. Why are celebrities earning more than professionals? It's a journey. They give us the eyeballs. They are the personalities that push this thing to that level. I mean, Jafaru won on the night, and through our partnership and our sponsorship from EV Automobiles, he won a brand new car. He went home with a brand new car for knocking out the current Commonwealth title British champion. So it's bit by bit. I don't believe, like I said, one of my favorite lines is that I've never believed in perfection. I think perfection is a myth, to be honest with you. I think I've always believed in momentum and building. So brick by brick, bit by bit, we are building a platform that will definitely not just benefit us alone, but benefit the whole country and the continent at large. And it's great because you've spoken a lot about the importance of talent development, all the economic opportunities that you're using these events at Balmoral Promotions to create. So I'd like to finish off on this note. When history is written, when it's all said and done, do you want to be remembered only as a boxing promoter or someone who helped build an entirely new space for sports entertainment? I think I would like to be remembered as someone that brought I think the word for me is sportainment. Sportainment. Sportainment, exactly. And we're in boxing. Yeah. We are going to be going into wrestling very soon, MMA, power slabs, and everything that has to do with combat sports. I think we are building a proper platform for that to happen. Make it happen. Dr. Ezekiel Adamu, CEO Balmoral Promotions, thank you for joining us. Thank you very much today. Thank you. Thank you. Robert Minds will be back. Don't just stand there teasing me. Now it's time to show and prove.
It took me quite a lot, to be honest, not to bust into the gala there while we're watching the video of an iconic person to Nigerian entertainment. Welcome back to Robin Minds this Sunday afternoon. We've gone through a lot on the show today. You know, we have looked at some tragic stuff, we looked at some very important and uplifting stuff, and now we are going to essentially celebrate via some nostalgic moments. We have an icon, a legend joining us in a bit very soon. As you know, some artists make music and others create movements. For over 5 decades, Daddy Showkey has remained one of the most recognizable voices in Nigerian music. I mean, before social media made celebrities overnight through TikTok and Instagram and YouTube Shorts, before we started hearing terms like Afrobeats to the world, and we started talking about Afrobeats on Grammy stages and all these other international awards, before we termed Afrobeats a global export, there was one young man from the streets of Ajegunle who turned the realities of everyday Nigerians into music that united the country. It didn't matter which part of the country you were from. It didn't matter how old you were. As soon as you heard things like "no kind" or you heard you immediately knew what was coming next. This man did not come from privilege. He came from resilience. If you're familiar with AJ City, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He created Galala, a sound and dance that became the heartbeat of an entire generation. He gave a voice to the streets long before authenticity became fashionable, through changing music trends, changing governments, changing political environments, changing audiences, and the rise of entirely new generations of artists. Daddy Showkey has remained relevant, not because he chased culture, but because he helped shape it. His journey has been marked by incredible highs, personal tragedies, and reinvention and survival. It's good to have him here as we celebrate 50 years on stage. Daddy Showkey, welcome. Welcome to Robin Minds.
Thank you. Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm very, very fine, you can see.
I can see. I mean,
Yes,
you're definitely looking a little differently from the guy on the screen not long ago. There are glasses now on your face.
It is time.
It is time. I can see the gray. And
Yeah.
I think it's a privilege that we get to live through time like this.
Yes, yes.
And that's something I've always wanted to speak. I guess if I ever met you, it's something like 50 years. You started this journey when you were 6.
Yes.
You used to be called Showkeyed.
I started from 1976
Yes.
as an acrobat. I did acrobatic dancing. I was going to a lot of places. And why I used to tell, but I started earlier, even earlier than that.
Wow.
But it was when I started going into TV, to visual, that's where I'm counting from.
Yeah.
Because I started on Barbie show as an acrobat, going there to perform, and by then there was no NTA, it was NTV, that's Nigerian TV.
Yeah.
That was what I used to go to. But we did not give up, we still continue, because sometimes when I sit and I tell people that I've spent that it's going to be 50 years, I've been telling people for some years back that in 2026 it's going to be 50 years that I'm on stage.
Yeah.
They will say, how old are you? That was what I used to hear. But we live in a society where we don't believe some things. I am a child star.
Yes.
I started as a young child. You understand? I always pray that people discover their children in time and document their movement. My mother, she was a teacher, so she did not have time. People that were taking me out, they will come, they will say, okay, they have this event for me. A lot of people like the great legend John Chukwu. John Chukwu was a master of ceremony. I met him through Jimmy Johnson, because I took part in Jimmy Johnson's album launch in Federal Palace Hotel.
Yes.
Then Jimmy Johnson did his album launch, but everything started from me in Village Headmaster, where I met Jimmy Johnson and John Chukwu. Anytime he has a program, he will take me on to come and perform. And from there, even before then, in 1977, I was in First Act 77. Apart from First Act 77, the day they opened Kuramo Lodge, they changed Kuramo Lodge from Kuramo Lodge to Holiday Inn. I did acrobatic there. So is it not what to be celebrated?
It is.
There were so many young children with me that were doing these things, but they are not here today to say, okay, this is the aftermath of what I started as a child. So if I have that opportunity, I will celebrate. And it is 50 years, whether anybody like it or not. It is 50 years. I don't hold anybody any explanation that does to give God the glory that I am alive. Because I know where I'm coming from. I came from Ajegule, a land where people say no good thing can come outside from. And that is why every day when I sit back and watch myself, I also see my neighborhood. People say, why every time I talk about my neighborhood? Not that everybody has his own neighborhood, but Ajegule is the land that gave me the platform and the opportunity to be where I am today.
And you know, you speak so glowingly about 50 years in this business, and you've mentioned places that started as something else, were renamed, were revamped, and now completely something different. So you've gone through a lot of changes just in Lagos, in our society, and sadly we don't have some of these footages anymore, some of these photos anymore. How do you feel about documentation? How much did you document?
I will tell you something. Sometime, I remember in 1994, after I left my group to go solo.
That's a pretty busy boy.
Yes, after I left Brisbane to go solo, I went to then NTA that I needed some footage of the village headmaster, many of the programs that I took part. I was disappointed with what they told me. The only time I remember I saw myself when I was a child was when I was in secondary school. Me and my classmates, we went for excursion to the museum, and they were showing Festac. And my classmates, they were seeing me, and they said, John, look at you. Everybody was saying, John, look at you. And thank God that most of my classmates, they are alive. They are going to be there. Awesome. Because they are among the special guests of that night, because they can tell people my journey. You know why this thing is tagged the journey? Because my life is a movement. I went through a lot of things. I went through the good, the bad, and the ugly of life. Even the process of this journey, there was some time I was boxing. Yeah. Sometimes I diversified so many other things.
You had a military career.
Because this is the dream, and God has destined that you are going to be a testimony to children. Because every time I see myself, I don't see myself as Daddy Showkey. I see myself like a messenger of my neighborhood. Because when I finished secondary school, after leaving secondary school, I wanted to look for a job. And it was one of my auntie, Montevigo, that was putting pressure on me that I should go and look for that. I can't be doing acrobat. I can't be putting my legs in my neck. So I said, okay, find work for me now. She wrote an application, and we took it to the place. Immediately they saw number 2 Mba Lane, Ajegule Apapa. They said I stole dog.
Wow.
They beat hell out of my head. They took me to Apapa police station. But by the grace of God, there was this inspector, a lady. She knows me she sees me in different markets where I go to do acrobat, and people will be dashing me money. She just came out and said, this boy is not a thief. I know this boy as an acrobat. He goes to the market with his friends. They will be doing acrobatic display. The woman asked me, so why did you go to that place to look for? I say, it is my sister that encouraged me, my auntie that encouraged me that I'm growing up. I was just 18 years old when that thing happened. That I'm growing up, that I should look for a job to survive, that I cannot grow up and live with. Yeah. That was the day I made the vow in my life that I will never work with anybody. That no matter what, I will not give up. I will continue. But if I have the opportunity, and today I'm telling the people, if I have the opportunity of becoming something, I will change the impression that people have about Ajegule. There was no social media then. There wasn't. And, you know, just to point on that, because you rose at a time where there was no social media, and you pivoted into music, and you sang glowingly of Ajegule and so on. And there are some songs that people can never forget. Yes. And if there are younger people who are growing up now and they never really saw you in your heydays, but when they hear the songs and people tell them about the stories, they think, oh my gosh, who was this guy? Songs like Diana, songs like Fire. You see, one thing I tell people, Ajegule, when they see me talking about Ajegule, there's so many neighborhoods that are like Ajegule. that children are not proud that they are from. Me, it is not about Ajegule alone. It is just for you to be proud of where you come from. No matter, like me, I'm a proud Nigerian. Anywhere I go in the world, I don't care about the impression you have about Nigeria. You cannot, Yoruba used to say something, say, no kokududu le kofufinjade. Inside a black pot, that is where the white pap comes from. So, no matter what you talk about my neighborhood, it does not define my person. And that is what the young people need to learn. You don't need, see, I might be Showkey. I have my good and my bad side. Emulate my good side, forget about my bad side. I grew up, let me tell you the truth, I tell people the way it is. The first role models that I knew in my life, they were all gone, they were all robbers. If I was growing up, I want to say, I must become something. But there was this person I met in my life. He was a Jehovah's Witness preacher. An old man, they call him Baba Jehovah. This man was preaching. Every time, if that man is come, people will lock in their door. I wanted to lock out, they just put his leg in the front of it and say, John. And I opened it and that man came into the house. And he preached something that changed my life. He told me about a story about David. And David saying, if today, in the asshole of Saul, is there anybody that can pay back the good that Jonathan did for me? They said no. Somebody stood up and told him, no, there's somebody from the asshole of Saul, but it's a leper that is in a manger.
Yes.
He said, who is they say his name is Mephibosheth. He said they should go and bring Mephibosheth. That today everything that belonged to the asshole of Saul, he gave it to Mephibosheth with tenfold. So if me, that is from Ajegule, if Mephibosheth can be blessed by David, who am I?
So that is Showkey. You know, you make such great points, and there's so much to look. There's so much to talk about. 50 years is you can't do 50 years in this small amount of time that we have, and that's why we need to pack in as much as we can because you have a big show that is coming up
in Eco
Hotel. It's happening, I believe, on the 9th.
On the 9th of August. Everybody must be there to come celebrate.
Here's something that I find very intriguing here. You mentioned earlier about your mom and how she was a
baby,
teacher,
the most beautiful,
and she didn't really have time to watch you. This will be the first time your mom is going to see you?
This is the first time my mom will be watching me playing on stage. My mom came with the award with me. I won the award, but she did not see me play. But this is the first time that see, that's why my mom is going to be the special guest of this occasion. She's going to sit there and watch me because I'm going to perform for her and everybody, because this journey that we are celebrating, it is not for me alone. It's for everybody that play a role in my life. See, I am Showkey today. People hear me speaking English. Before when I thought I cannot even speak English well, I don't have to speak English well. But you see, there was a lot of good, positive people that I met through this journey that redirect my life.
So I want to then talk about with your wealth of experience. I want to then look at today's industry. It is worth billions globally now. We hear all these crazy amounts of money that people are making off of music. If you look at your experience, do you think that as we hear that the business side of music seems to be increasing, has the creative side also gotten better, do you think?
I will tell you that the world is a global place right now. The word that they say that the world is a global place, it's right now that the world is a global place. Because you can be in Nigeria just now and be transmitting in another part of the world. In our time, it wasn't like that. I took my record. My record company, they can testify to this. I took my album, my first album, to every TV station in Nigeria by myself. These Yomatic tapes, that may so rest in peace. There was this man called Isaac Black. Isaac Black had a diesel Benz. Isaac Black, when I met Isaac Black, took me to so many states. We were driving with smoke in the car, but we managed it just to promote this Daddy Showkey brand. And today, people can just be in the four corners of their room and release a sound, and it will go viral.
Sure.
Every day, you know what I pray? I don't jealous these young people, oh, but I always pray that God should just let me lick a little oil from what they are enjoying today. Because let me tell you, it's only a wicked man that will see somebody progressing and trying to bring them down. I don't bring people down. All I pray for God, thank God there's still people alive that still recognize me. And I will tell you this, Showkey 50 years on stage. It's a big shock. This is the first time I'm doing a show that is my own show.
And you know, Daddy Showkey, I want to just quickly pop in here because you're giving us a feel of what will happen on the 9th of August. And I was doing some research, and I was listening back to the old tracks, and I said, is it possible that I know not everybody is here today, but is it possible we're going to see sort of a reunion of the Pretty Busy Boys?
I've lost one of the members, Cashman.
Cash,
and I will not say it's not possible because even when the Pretty Busy Boys, everybody, I was the last person to leave the group. And I was the only person, nobody believed in me. They think that because they know I'm a dancer and I'm a boxer. You understand? So, and they know, but one thing they did not realize is that God does not choose who will succeed. You cannot say, you will say you will succeed, but it is God that will say, okay, God will just throw his blessings for everybody. God wants to bless everybody. But after the Pretty Busy Boys, everybody went solo. Me, I was thinking, what will I do? I went back to the garage. First of all, I wanted to join the army. And I went to Kaduna and I ran back to Lagos because the training was too much for me. I came back to Lagos. And I went back to the garage. It was in the garage that I discovered that I have a potential to be a singer.
So and just to wrap things up here, Daddy Showkey, it's been lovely talking to you. But look, history will always be written, and I think history of Nigerian music will always favor you kindly.
And we should write our history when we are alive. Otherwise, people will say, I always tell people, I am alive now. Talk waiting you say I do, you now make a face you. Not be say when I know they're going to say Showkey, do you show? Talk and now make a face you. Quick.
And you know what? I think that's a fantastic way to close. While the man is here,
you see, my dear, has it been I am like you now, I would have wrote the book. But now I'm always soliciting for people that will come and let's document and write a book.
Fantastic. And you know, just to wrap up on the point of your event on the 9th of August, when people, you know, gather to celebrate your music that day, what do you hope they will say Daddy Showkey stood for beyond gala land dancing and the music?
I'm just a naturalist. I'm a humble boy, the same guy you know from the beginning that came from Ajegunle. Even today, people say I'm different. Some say I don't grow old. Some say I'm like this. I'm still my old self. No matter the wealth, no matter anything that can change me, just take me the way you see me.
Fantastic. Daddy Showkey, thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you on stage on the 9th of August.
Yes, sir.
And thank you very much for watching Robin Minds this Sunday afternoon. I'm going to play you out with a special song to take you back in time. When and you, I won't be shy. I'm going to take this jacket off and I will do some galala. I'm Osato Edokpayi. Thank you for watching.